What's up? My name is Zaaqqara. We are live in the living room. Shout out to Reese, the director.
Zaaqqara is a captivating multi-instrumentalist and composer recognized for her unwavering zeal in meticulous crafting immersive auditory landscapes that captivate the senses. Her musical odyssey spans various roles from vocalist and bassist to percussionist. Beyond her solo ventures, Zaaqqara collaborates with her partner Zymatic to form the experimental electronic duo Zygote. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So you're from New Haven, Connecticut?
I have been in New Haven. I'm based out of New Haven now. I'm from Brooklyn originally, Brooklyn, New York.
Okay, what part of Brooklyn?
Yeah, I grew up in East New York.
Okay,
yeah,
shout out to East. I'm from Brooklyn. I got family in East New York.
Dope.
So what was it like growing up in Brooklyn?
Interesting for me. I mean, there's just so much art and things to do in Brooklyn. My dad's a drummer, so I grew up like going to gigs with him and like sitting in on things and kind of like seeing the professional musician side of it like from a very young age. So that was cool. And my mom's actually a psychic, so like I was like I got like the hippie neo soul artsy side and then like the jazzy classical side.
Did she do that as a profession? Like she would like
she still does. She
still does.
Yeah, she's a psychic. Yeah,
nice.
That's my mommy.
Nice. So any siblings?
I have 2 older brothers and then a younger sister.
Okay, are you guys all close?
Yeah, we're pretty close, yeah.
How do they feel about your music?
They're all really supportive. My sister's a singer and a dancer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my sister Keiko, and then my brother Jabari is an actor and writer. So we're all like a little bit in the arts. My brother draws. So,
that's dope as hell. Were you relatively a good kid or a bad kid coming up?
I was really quiet.
Really?
Yeah, I was really quiet. Like I didn't really talk a lot at all because I was like in high school.
Really?
Yeah,
I would have never thought that.
I was so shy. Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I really don't know. It was just like a weird thing. I just had to like break through it, and honestly, performing kind of like helped me step out of that.
Right. I mean, because you can't be a shy entertainer.
No.
I always tell people that like you can't be a shy entertainer. You gotta get up there and do what you gotta do.
Exactly.
Right. So like, what was that transition like moving from Brooklyn to Connecticut?
At first, terrible. it was like.
How old were you?
I was 8. I was 8 when I moved to Connecticut. I was back and forth because my dad still stayed in New York and most of my family's still in New York.
Yeah.
And I was homeschooled, so I was always back and forth, but I was mostly with my mom in Connecticut.
All your siblings were homeschooled as well?
Just me and my younger sister.
Okay.
Just me and my younger sister. So, that was interesting. It was interesting just because there's just like, it went from being in Brooklyn, like there's always something going on. We're going to an event here, or driving somewhere here, like.
You could just walk to the corner store.
Just walk out, and then I got to Connecticut and I was like, I'd never seen so many trees.
Yeah, right.
That was interesting. I've come to love it, but it took a minute to process.
So what's New Haven like?
I really like New Haven. I've been exploring the music scene in New Haven for about 4 years now. I started out by throwing like house shows. When I first moved here, I had like a cool little spot where I would throw experimental house shows with like full bands, rappers, artists, all different genres, and we made it like a different each room had like a different theme, so you'd have like a craft or something in one room, like more like a smoke room in another side, and then like the concert. So I met a lot of artists doing that, and I just realized like there's so much going on in New Haven right now. Like there's so many different kinds of artists and different little venues. It's a cool spot.
Yes. Oh, how did you come up with your stage name, Zaaqqara? Is that your birth name?
Zaaqqara is my birth name.
Nice.
Yeah. It's spelled a little different.
Yes. Yeah. Is it spelled the way it's on Facebook or Instagram? I mean.
So no, my birth name is not. But the original name is an Arabic name, Zaaqqara, spelled Saqquara.
Okay.
So I kind of mixed that spelling with my birth name spelling, which is Zechara, like my dad. My dad's name is Zachary, so he kind of like put his own spin on it.
Yeah. Nice. So you do come from a musical background.
Yes.
So like, what was that like?
Great. I mean, I don't know. Interesting. It's interesting because, I mean, parents are always going to be parents. They have like goals for you and things that they want. And I don't think that my dad had any idea that I'd be playing the kind of music that I'm playing now, even though he like always wanted me to be an artist or musician or some sort.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was
Does
cool.
he like the music?
Yeah. At first, like I grew up listening to like all kinds of stuff. Like I grew up playing jazz and like listening to neo soul and R&B and stuff like that. And then I kind of like took a hard like left turn and went to like heavy metal and prog rock and like math rock, and my dad was like, I don't know what's going on right now, like I hope this is a phase. It was not a phase.
Right.
But now, like without that like turn, I don't think my music would be as like interesting as it is now.
Right. Any like church background?
No, I didn't really grow up going to church at all. My dad, I think my dad grew up Catholic and was not about it by the time I was. I think he more subscribes to like Buddhism now.
Right.
And I guess my mom would be similar, same direction. Yeah.
So like how long have you been an entertainer and playing instruments?
I've been playing instruments since I was 7.
Wow.
Yeah, I started off playing drum set. Like
were you forced?
No, they were always around me, so it was kind of just like a thing I did. Like, okay, I'm going to my dad's house, I'm gonna go play drums. Like that's just what I did. Was it forced? No, but I will say that once my dad realized that I had like somewhat of natural talent, he was like, you gotta practice. So I'd be like watching cartoons. He's like pulling out the practice pad. He's like, do your paradiddles.
Like, what were your siblings doing at those times?
My sister's a dancer, so she's always just like
dancing
she would
around.
just choreograph. My sister was like choreoreoking full dances
from
the time she was like 7, 8. Yeah.
Wow. Have you guys collaborated with any of your projects, like her dancing and like you performing?
I hope we do soon. I hope we do soon. Keiko, we gotta do that. Like,
y'all never put anything together?
We have for small performances when I was younger. We don't work well together.
Oh, okay.
We're still siblings.
Yes. Like who's the leader? Like.
Exactly.
Right.
Who is the leader? I don't know. Never happened.
So like, what's your background like, far as an ethnicity?
Few things. I think my dad's side is like Cape Verdean. My mom's side African American, and from Barbados. So yeah, Barbados African American, and then Cape Verdean African American. There's a little bit of, I don't know, a couple things. It's a good mix.
Okay. Shout out to Jimmy Vo, because he actually was the one who like was putting together a showcase at Stella Blues and introduced us to one another.
Oh, nice.
How did you meet Jimmy?
Oh, I love Jimmy. Jimmy and I used to work together. Like, it was so random.
Oh shoot, because he's from Harlem too. He's from New York.
It was crazy. When we started working together, like I was working at a coffee shop, totally random, and we started talking about music. And I think like within a couple months, we were like working on a song together. We actually have a song called Galaxy. That's out on Spotify right now. I think it's on Apple Music as well.
Oh shoot!
But
okay.
yeah, Jimmy and I,
Jimmy's mad dope. You know, like I told him like I love what you're doing, and he's like, oh, Zaaqqara's the plug. Like she's the one you need to speak to. Like she got everything going on. So yeah. So like, how long have you been a bartender?
I've been bartending.
And you was a barista at one point in time. So.
Yeah, I basically never went to like bartending school. I started as a barista, and then I begged my boss at a music venue to like let me try bartending.
Right.
And I just taught myself everything. So I've been doing it for about 8 years, but I really got into it because I wanted to work in music venues. I wanted to like get more into the scene and network and meet people outside of the groups that I was. So I started just bartending at like different events and concerts, and then venues, and then bars and whatever.
So can people book you like privately just to bartend?
That's what I do. Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Pretty much just event-based bartending. Like I also have like been helping people to craft cocktail menus.
Wow.
And things like that. So yeah.
All self-taught.
Yeah.
Dope. You're dope as hell. How long have you been using Bandcamp? And like, why Bandcamp as a distribution?
Bandcamp is the best right now for me because it doesn't limit the audio quality. Like you can upload big files, and it doesn't like suppress.
Yeah, your songs are pretty long.
They're long, and also like there's a lot going on in them. Sometimes like when you upload things to Apple Music, it like compresses the files in a weird way, and
you have live bands like in your music.
Yeah. So it just sounds better, and also when
I never even knew that was a problem. Like
it sounds a lot better, and also when people purchase the tracks through Bandcamp, I think.
I'm sorry to cut you off again, but it makes sense. It's called Bandcamp, so it's more catered to.
It's more like live music, live sounds.
Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Also, a bigger percentage of the proceeds for like when you buy my track, I get like I think it's like 80% or something like that.
Wow.
Like most of the music goes to me. They take a very small percentage.
Yes.
So that's great.
Well, shout out to Bandcamp.
More people get on Bandcamp.
Yeah.
Get your money.
And like less than 2 weeks, or maybe like 2 more weeks, it'll make 1 year for your release of your EP. Impasto.
Yeah.
How does it feel to like finally have that project out?
Oh my God, that is such a relief. That project is a compilation of songs I had been working on for probably like 4 years.
Wow.
performing those songs for a really long time. I was working with some people in studios, and eventually, I mean, like, it was just too much to try to like book things. I'm also very, very particular and kind of a perfectionist. So like to have someone to go into a studio with someone and be like, I'm gonna work on just a guitar part for like 3 hours. And just
Shit, you're like that?
Yeah, like,
wow.
that's what I'll do. So I'm getting better at it now. I'm getting better at just kind of like letting it go. But that project, I was like,
because we are our worst critics, so
Yeah.
you're like, this is not good.
No,
And knowing
yeah.
that it's actually good.
And I had to be like in a space where I felt comfortable. So I spent that time building a studio in my own house. So
Oh,
I recorded
nice.
that whole thing in my own home studio.
Wow.
And then it started to feel
So all the
like,
mixing and mastering is you.
It's the mixing and mastering for Impasto is me and my partner Zymatic.
Nice.
Yeah,
Shout out
yeah.
to him. Okay. So like why the title Impasto?
Um,
Because I looked up the meaning. So it like it's the process of a technique of laying on paint so that it stands out from a surface. That's what it says.
Yeah. So yeah, essentially like if you like the most common or mainstream painter, Van Gogh, use impasto because it's just like a thick layering of paint, and that's kind of like how I felt creating this music. Like I kept going back and editing these songs and like adding new layers and like, okay, I'm gonna do backgrounds here, I'm gonna do a little bit of guitar here, I'm gonna do some shakers over here, I'm gonna add drums to this, but like very quietly, and it just like over time became what it is. It was, they were just very bare raw tracks, and I just kept adding to them. So I was like,
Nice.
that's
So,
dope.
like, what was your process to titling your tracks? 'Cause I know you like an overthinker when it comes to creating a song. So did you
Definitely.
overthink those titles? Because they were really strategic.
Thank you for noticing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've always been very into lyrics. Lyrics are super important to me. So some of the songs I named just after the lyrics, and some of the songs I named just after the general feeling. I wanted the songs to like give people when they listen to it. So yeah.
Okay. So like, what marketing strategies are you using to promote this project?
To promote Impasto, you know, I'm still experimenting with a lot of things. I kind of took a step back from performing for a little bit because I've changed my setup a bit. But I will be performing a lot of the music live now and kind of mixing it and doing more of a different spin on it every time I do that. I'm talking to you. I have been traveling a bit, and as a traveling bartender, I go out, and if I'm like at an event, I'll try to like hop on the mic and talk to people.
Just putting yourself out
just
there
putting
more.
myself out there more and trying to talk to people. It's like, I feel like social media works to an extent. Algorithms are rough.
Hell yeah.
Try to figure them out. You know, I'm trying to do
Something,
a
it
little bit
changes
of both,
every
but,
day.
Yeah, but like meeting people face to face and really making that connection, it does help.
Right. Like, how's the feedback been since the release of the project?
It's been good. I think yeah, people have been really kind about it a lot. I'm just really happy. Yeah, things have been
Okay.
good.
Favorite track on the EP and why?
It's a good question. I like all of them. They're my babies. But I guess lyrically,
Well, you can pick one.
if I have to pick one, I guess I'd have to pick Trip. I really like Trip. It's super simple. It started out with just me playing bass and singing, like that's how I wrote the song, and then I wanted to have one song that kind of transitioned into the music that I wanted to go into, which is more of like a psychedelic electronic kind of vibe. So I layered some like dance housey drums underneath it, and it just like, it feels really warm. It makes me happy. It's just like, yeah, it's just a good.
Ooh. So like, how did you meet Zymatic, and like, how did your group come together?
How did it come together? How did we meet? We met online technically, but it was just kind of like being in the music scene in Connecticut over time and like going to shows and meeting people. Zymatic had
Was it instant chemistry?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he invited me to a jam session at his friend's house.
Nice.
And we kind of just like never stopped hanging out after that.
From that moment
yeah,
on.
it was just like, I
That's
played
dope
some of
as
my
hell.
songs, played some of what he was working on. I was like, we should just keep doing this. He's like, yeah, we should keep doing this.
So like, who booked your shows?
Who books them? Right now it's all me. I'm my own manager and promoter
Really?
and producer and writer and all of it. Yeah, right now. But I'm looking for an agent, so you know, just like
Okay.
me out.
So like, what inspired you to make music?
I don't think I had a choice. I just always did. Like, you know, it was just the way that I express myself. It's just a natural thing. as I said, like lyrics are always really important to me. I love writing. And then when I started making music and getting more into like melodic things rather than percussion, I kind of realized like, oh, why don't I just put this together?
Right.
And there I started
What
writing
themes do
songs.
you address in your music?
I think I see my music as kind of like a form of therapy, so it's always just kind of like a statement of where I am at the time. But it's always really personal. I do write, like my lyrics are a little bit more abstract sometimes, like in my song Trance. It's about like a past relationship I had that was actually a pretty abusive relationship that I went through, and kind of just like coming through that and what that felt like to me during the time. Some of my songs are just like addressing familiar relationships and like my family and things like that. Like it's all pretty personal right now, but I'm trying to branch out for my new songs, so look out.
Okay. Are you in a relationship right now?
Yeah, I'm actually in a relationship with Zaaqqara, my partner.
Oh, nice. Dope. How do you manage your love life and having a music career?
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of just merged into one thing now, because we work together, we work separate, we support each other in that. Like, we're kind of just each other's personal assistant at the moment. That's kind of how it works out. And like, I say partner even in my relationship. Like, and people just think that it's like partner, like what is this person gonna look like whatever. But I don't think it really matters gender or what, you know, like what people subscribe to or anything like that. Like it's just like, that's my life partner, music partner.
So what's one advice you'd give to someone that's trying to manage the two, a relationship and a music career?
Don't forget yourself. Like still find things that you can do separately, and like don't change to just kind of like limit yourself to only being with that person. Like you kind of have to have something to talk about. You can't be together 24/7.
Hell yeah, you're right. You
what
lose
are you
things
gonna
to talk about,
what are you gonna talk about? Like yeah, I was there. What are you telling me?
Right.
I know, I saw it. Like and that gets boring after a while. So you just gotta find things that kind of, you know, still maintain your own individuality.
What comes first, your profession or your partner?
No comment. I think it's equal. I think it's equal. I don't know if it comes
I don't mean to be messy, you know, but if you could...
I don't know if it comes first. I mean, I'm very driven. I really love my music, so I hope that they wouldn't get in the way of that. That's what I'll say.
Okay. February 9th, you released a new single titled
W.Y.K.
Right, because I could not pronounce it.
Yes.
I looked at YouTube videos. It was like W.Y.K. I was trying to say it. And I'm like, I don't want to say it on camera. So let her say it. So like why the title and what inspired the song? Because it means like insane and crazy.
Yeah, like slowly going crazy, like spiraling into madness. That's just kind of like what I wanted the feeling. I titled it that, and then I wrote lyrics based on that theme because I kind of had a melody that I wanted to use, and then I just kept building off of that. And as you listen to the track, you'll notice that it kind of starts off slow and quiet and kind of chill, and then it like keeps adding more and more things that kind of feel like some kind of like swirly trance kind of vibe. And yeah, so that's why I kind of wanted it to feel like it was like some girl who was like going crazy on the dance floor, you know, spiraling.
Any plans for a music video?
Yes. I'm not sure who will be directing it yet, but I do have some ideas. Yeah.
Okay. Has music always been natural to you?
Yeah, I struggled a bit. I mean, as everyone does. Like I played jazz, so that was rough. I played upright, classical bass, and no, it was not always easy. But I'm so happy that I stuck through and like studied with the people I studied with. I studied with a guy called Paul Brown, who was an amazing bass player, jazz bass player, upright, who I did not like at first. He's just so hard on me. Like that movie Whiplash. Like
oh my God, I love that movie.
That was me.
That was you. Wow.
That was me and Paul.
Wow, that's crazy.
But I so respect him.
Is Paul still around?
No, he passed away.
Man, but did he get to hear your music?
No, he hasn't, but I think of him all the time. Honestly, when I was writing Trip,
That was a tribute to him? Or?
Yeah, it was kind of a tribute to him. Like, I was just like gonna keep it just straight bass. He always had this vision or this idea that he wanted to have a bass, like an all bass orchestra of different like electric and upright basses playing music together. As like
was your dad a fan of him?
Yeah, I definitely. Of course.
Okay. Being a musician is not enough these days. You gotta be the video editor, a full-time content creator. Is that challenging?
Yeah, but as with anything, you just gotta schedule time to do it. I've been trying to get better at like content creation and being more creative with strategies to get more things on social media and things like that. But yeah, it is a challenge. It's a lot to try to like
you say, you need a manager right now, so you gotta book your own shows.
Exactly. It's a lot, but it's fun. It's worth it.
So, what role does improvisation play in your performances?
A big
or recording
role.
too.
Yeah, a big role. I think a lot of my editing techniques and when I'm like writing a song
I see you with the face mask and everything.
I'm like all over the place. I'm kind of always winging it a little bit, but that's like the jazz background in me. Like it might not come out as jazz, but it always that improvisational background is like always within me. So like when I'll start with like a DJ set, and then I've been looping live vocals, live guitar, live bass, and like it's kind of every time I do a performance, it's a little bit different.
Okay, so what's your process to finding beats?
I don't have a process. I really mix it up. I kind of give myself parameters with each project I work on. Sometimes I'll say like, okay, I'm just gonna write the lyrics, and then I'm not going to go in the studio at all. Like I'm just gonna sit here and write these lyrics and then write a melody, and now I'm gonna create a beat that I think goes with this melody. And sometimes I'll start with a beat. It's kind of totally random, depends on the project.
Yeah, you said write a melody. Wow.
Yeah, like
you're really composing like your music.
Yeah, definitely.
That's beautiful. So like, how do you handle criticism or feedback on your music, and like, how does it impact your creative process?
Well, I think it used to be pretty soul crushing, but I think I got past that, and I kind of just have learned to just kind of improve out of spite. Like I kind of started singing because I was taking a Latin percussion class. I played conga, and we had a vocalist who was we were doing a cover of, I think it was Killing Me Softly, and she was just not killing it. So I was like, I could do this, and they're like, you don't sing, and I was like, give me 2 weeks. And I learned the song, and it was actually terrible. It was really, really bad. And they're like, that was not it either.
Wow.
And I was like, okay. But I like worked at it like for the next 2 months, and then I did the solo, and they're like, oh wow, that was actually really good. Like, I don't know. I kind of just take it as like, okay, thank you for the feedback, and I'm just gonna use that as motivation.
How do you approach collaboration with other musicians or artists?
I'm still trying to figure that out. I am, as I said, a perfectionist, so I first have to really, really like that artist and like appreciate their voice and like what they're doing already.
How do you turn people down? Because I'm sure people ask like, yo, we gotta collaborate.
I'm super busy, as like I do everything. Like if I'm gonna commit to working on a project, like I gotta believe in it, and not that I don't believe in everyone, but also it's like, how fast do you work? How fast can we turn out this project? Like I like to be face to face with people too, so I don't really like sending beats back and forth. Sometimes that works, but I prefer to just like get a feel of people's energy and kind of work it out in the moment.
Make it cohesive.
Yeah.
I like that. How important is it for you to connect with your audience through your music, and how do you achieve that?
Very important for me. As I said, a lot of my songs are very personal. I'm working on a series where I go through each of my tracks as I release them and show the process of my writing, and also like explain a little bit of the background of the story, what it's about, so you'll hear more about like what Trip is about, how I got there, what experiences kind of led to the creation of the song. I do think that a lot of my experiences are relatable, and I want people to not just feel the music from just like hearing it, but also understand like the lyrics behind it.
Right. So how do you approach the balance between staying true to your artistic vision and meeting audience expectations?
I stopped caring about what the audience expects, because the audience should just expect to see me perform. And I think that I'm talented enough to entertain them, even if it's not exactly what they're expecting, and hopefully they'll be pleasantly surprised.
So are there any particular venues or festivals that you hold like a special place in your heart?
Venues or festivals. I've always wanted to do Afropunk. I haven't done that yet. That's definitely on the bucket list. In addition to that, I mean, there's just like a bunch of things. I've always like, it's just more just like Tiny Desk.
I love Tiny Desk.
I love Tiny Desk. I've like grew up.
They have so much random people, and you can see Juvenile, and then you can see.
And also their sounds, though, the sound is always so perfect.
Yes,
I'm
it
like,
is.
it's so crisp.
Yes.
Oh, I want that. So,
I said I wanted to recreate that here, but getting a live band is just like not easy.
It's not easy. I mean, I can help you. I know some people, but.
Oh my God, let's connect, please.
Yeah. But yeah, things like that, like more intimate spaces. I'm really more into. Like,
and that's what I'm really big on, intimate settings, really getting to know the person and meeting them, you know, because there's so many fake ass connections people make, like, yeah, we gotta collaborate, we gotta meet, and you never do. I
always wanted to perform in like a black box setting too, with just like having like someone choreograph a piece around it, or like some kind of visual aspect of it, with me like performing something in the center.
I mean, you sound like you need your sister.
Yeah, I mean,
because I'm picturing colors and then like you're
like
performing.
Cool lighting and like a little, like,
do you watch Colors?
Yes, yeah, I love it.
So I'm picturing something like that and like your sister
cool.
dancing.
That would be dope. Yeah.
So how do you find a unique voice and sound with the music industry being so saturated?
I listen to a lot of different music. I grew up listening to everything that my mom listened to, everything that my dad listened to, and they have very different tastes in music. And then I kind of found, like I said, like I kind of veered off and went into like
found your own thing.
Yeah, my own thing.
Yeah.
So I've just taken a lot of different kinds of art. I try to go outside of just like the U.S. and like world music and things like that, and other cultures, and learning about music around the world really helps. And just staying true to yourself. Like, you can't really think about what people are gonna say about it. You just gotta make something that you like. And I make something that I like that is usually pretty interesting, pretty cool.
Like, so what do you think people feel when they hear your music?
I guess overall, even with the dance tracks, I kind of want them to feel like more relaxed, I guess. Relaxed and kind of just like you're being taken on a journey. Like, you're kind of like laying on a tube floating down a river, you know, like, where am I going? I don't know, but I'm down for the ride. Yeah.
When did you say to yourself, I found my purpose?
I think about pretty recently, and
Really?
I'm always defining that. I think it changes with every venture I take on and every like song I create. It's a little bit different, but yeah, I mean, as I said, my mom's a psychic, and I grew up with like a lot of hands-on healing. So I've kind of just been exploring that lately, and I think that healing in relation to audio and sound is really the direction I'm trying to go in. I'm trying to figure out what that means.
So who encouraged you to believe in yourself? Like, any memorable moments or any relatives?
My whole family's been super supportive. My mom and dad are great. Even though they didn't really understand my path at times, they're always just like, well, as long as you're good at it, keep going. Yeah, my family's always been really good.
That's what's up. So tell me about your first musical memory.
First musical memory. That's a great question. I think it was my dad giving me my first practice pad, and I used to practice my like stick technique on the pad, and then one day he was like, okay, now you're gonna play on the drums.
Oh, shoot.
And it was like a big moment for me. I was like, I'm gonna play my dad's drums, like that's crazy. And like also like sit down and like actually learn a song. He's like, I think one day he asked me to choose a song that I wanted to learn on the drums.
What was the first song you learned, front to back?
My dad made me learn "Tighten Up," like that like R&B like classic. And then it was really cool because when I started playing bass, he's like, "You remember Tighten Up? Did you learn the bass line?" And so I learned the bass line, and he played the drums. So that was like a big like full circle moment for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so cool. So tell me about your worst music experience without like throwing anybody under the bus.
Worst music experience?
Yes.
Well, there are lots. First acoustic guitar singer-songwriter performance. I prepared a 30-minute set. I was so excited. I think I was 12 or 13. And right before I went on stage, I put my guitar, I leaned it against a table to tie my shoe, and someone knocked it over and it cracked in half.
Oh, shoot.
That was soul crushing.
What?
Yeah, I didn't even get to perform, and everyone's like, "Is she gonna perform?" I'm like, "Do you want me to sing a cappella?" Absolutely not. And so yeah.
So what did you learn from that experience, if anything?
Come prepared. Buy a guitar stand. Don't lean your guitar on things. Take care of your instrument, and don't trust your friends around your instruments.
Right. Who do you listen to right now musically?
I have been listening to a lot of Fela Kuti, and I really like Bjork. I've always loved Bjork. I like Arca. It's like an experimental electronic artist. I love Rosalia. And then there's an artist who recently passed away, Erkin Koray. He's a Turkish psychedelic musician. I've been like super into him as well.
Okay. What's your favorite book and why?
That's a great question too. Look at you. Favorite book. What is my favorite book? There's so many. I think actually The Invisible Man, I'd say, is the most interesting novel I've read. And I think I've read it twice now.
Oh,
and
shoot.
I've still found like
wow.
new things that really stick out to me, and it's just like so relevant to today. It's just it's really interesting.
Okay. So who films and directs your music videos?
Ellison, by the way. I didn't say the author.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. The Invisible Man, Ralph Ellison. Because there's another The Invisible Man, like the sci-fi.
Yeah.
But it's like the 1950s Invisible Man. Anyway.
Okay. So who films and directs your music videos?
I've been working with different people for each project. Actually,
They're really cinematic. I love them.
Yeah. I've been lucky enough to find people who are into film just as much as I am, and like as passionate as about working on music videos.
I can't imagine how picky you are with the visuals.
Oh yeah, I have a huge hand in all the visuals. Like I storyboard everything from start to finish, and then I usually like create a Google Drive with the person I'm working with, and we like go scene by scene to make sure like if we actually can do it based on budget and setting and space and things like that. My first music video, The Distance Between the Earth and the Moon, was directed by Fernando Piano, who was really cool. Like we created a whole team for that. Like I had a bunch of friends help me kind of create sets and be extras in the video and help me film it in the middle of winter. Like I filmed that whole video in like below 30-degree
What was
weather.
the budget?
If
you don't mind.
Not much, like maybe $300.
Shoot, shout out to your friends, man.
Yeah. They're hardcore.
They're really supportive.
Yeah. And then my most recent music video, Wrapped in Wires, was directed by my friend Sartorius, who is also another amazing artist. He's a hip hop artist based out of New Haven. He performs under the name Soto Lish. So definitely check him out. He's a dope. And
Definitely.
He's like also just as much into film, if not more obsessed with film than I am. So that was like just an easy collaboration.
Right. So what does making it mean to you?
I have people that I idolize and I want to work with, and I just want like a message from one of those people saying like, I like your stuff, like good job. Like that's it for me. Like I mean, I want to travel, I want to perform more and like kind of branch out. I think just like the opportunity for travel and meeting new people and touching different people that I wouldn't get to connect with is really what success looks like to me.
Okay. What's the difference between you and using artists?
There's not much of a difference. I think I've worked really hard to merge the two, and I did have alter egos for a long time. Whereas like I performed under the name Trinity, and I tried a lot of different things, but I've kind of worked over the past 5 years or so to really merge the artist and Zaaqqara as like one, which is why I started performing under my birth name again, kind of like reclaiming myself.
So like, are you a model as well?
I used to model quite a bit actually. I guess yes.
Okay, cool.
I don't consider myself a model. I like taking pictures. I like photography. I like art. So.
Do you paint?
I wish. I try to paint. I would not say I'm a painter.
Okay.
But I do enjoy painting.
And you have a clothing line as well.
I used to, yeah. So I sell vintage consignment clothing. I also like would alter it and resell things.
Why did you stop?
It was kind of a COVID project for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I couldn't perform. I couldn't have
people
parties.
were making face masks. And
yeah, it was rough.
Yes.
Like I went from having house shows with like 70, 80 people there, and
Yeah.
then being like, "You want to come over?" And everyone's like, "No."
Right. Nobody wants to hang out. Right?
No one wants to hang out. So I've always been into fashion, and I kind of like I style myself, and everyone's always like, "Oh, where'd you get that?" And I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? I'll tell you where I got it.
Hell yeah.
It's my shop, but I just don't have the time to do it lately.
Okay. So if you had the opportunity to talk to your younger self before you started taking everything serious, what would you tell yourself?
Practice every day. Practice, practice, practice. Like, take that practice time seriously, and even if you're not creating, or if it's not good that day, or you just like don't feel like it, just pick up your instrument or write something down. Like, if I did that every day, I wish I could say that to myself and like take it seriously.
Yeah. I'm really big on manifesting, so if you had any mainstream artist that you could collaborate with right now, who would it be? And do you have a title for that track?
Okay, I don't have a title for that track, 'cause I'm not gonna do that to myself. Really, Frank Ocean, you can call it whatever you want.
Oh,
James Blake, you could literally just tell me what to do, whatever. And Bjork is like top. I'd love to collaborate with any of those artists.
Okay. If you had the opportunity to join a label or continue being independent, which route would you choose?
You know, I'm still exploring what the benefits of being an independent artist are. So I'm not sure, but I mean, if a label wanted to come and offer me some money, I'm not gonna turn it down, depending on what they're offering, because I am like I said, I'm really particular about what I want to be presenting, how I want to present myself, and how I want to release music. So if I can find a label that is willing to work with that, then I'd be down.
Okay. What's the hardest part in your opinion with growing a fan base, or has it been easy?
No, it hasn't been easy. The hardest part is just staying consistent with it. It's hard to be an artist and like you have days where you just don't feel like doing it.
Right.
But yeah, I guess just staying consistent, really, that's like the hardest thing.
Okay. If you had to choose between what makes you happy and what makes you money, which one would you choose? But keep in mind, what's making you happy isn't making you money.
I'd go with what's making me happy. Yeah. I like money, but I value joy and experiencing life, and if I'm experiencing life the way I want to, money can, fall to the wayside.
What's your go-to track? Like happy, sad, it doesn't matter. Just a go-to track. You can listen to it anytime.
I have a couple of those. Okay. Teen Town by Jaco Pastorius, or totally in the opposite direction, Two Princes by Spin Doctors. It's just like beep beep, it just like makes me happy. I don't know. It's just pure joy.
What makes you different? I know every artist said they're different, but what makes you different?
I don't try to be different. I just exist. I think that makes me different.
Okay, I guess it's fair.
I don't know.
For someone who's never heard your music, tell us 2 songs they should go listen to right now.
Who's never heard me?
Yeah, who never heard your music before.
Okay, definitely listen to Wrapped in Wires by my band Zaaqqara. It's a really cool, subversive, dancey track. I really like a lot. W.Y.K is my newest release. That's more like also dancey, but a little bit more on the electronic, trancey side. There's some elements of Jersey beat, Baltimore club in there, along with like house and drum and bass.
Okay. And my last question, what's next?
What's next? So much. I'm working on an album that I hope to release by the end of the summer called Oblivion.
Okay.
As I will also be releasing some singles within the next...
Sorry to cut you off, but I know I said my last question. Who does your cover arts? For your like albums and stuff, and then your singles.
Various artists. The album Impasto, I collaborated with the artist Arian Wilkerson, who is a choreographer and installation performance artist.
Okay.
They styled me along with Dom Son from Mars, who's a stylist and another musician as well. They created that look for me.
Wow.
And I shot it in a studio in Hartford.
Nice.
And then...
That was so dope.
Yeah, I was really happy about that. We planned that out. That was one of the first shoots that I did for my own personal music visuals that I really was just like, wow, this is
came out exactly how you pictured it.
Yeah, better than I imagined. Like, shout out to Arian.
Shout out to them.
Dom,
Hell yeah.
killed it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What's his Instagram?
Ari Astro, at Ari Astro. Tomat Astro is their company.
Cool.
You can check them out. Tomat
So
Astro.
again, what's next?
So what's next? I will be releasing an album called Oblivion
Okay.
by the end of the summer. That album is going to be a little bit of everything. I have some kind of like indie rock, vibey tracks, some more like dancey, electronic, psychedelic things. I'm kind of just going to be bouncing around a little bit, so look out for that. And I will be coming out with a music video for at least 2 of my singles. I won't say which ones yet, but definitely keep an eye out.
Okay. Well, Zaaqqara, I really appreciate you for coming out. It took us a while. I've been trying to connect with you, and I'm so happy you came all the way out.
Yeah. No,
would you mind leaving us with the performance?
Yeah, absolutely.